What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Big Man on Campus podcast. I'm your host, the Big Man on Campus. It's 5 o'clock, which means we're live on a Monday. Every day we're here breaking down the college hoops card, hoping to find yet another winner or a couple winners here tonight. Big Monday coming up. Actually some good games in the card. Usually Monday, as the season goes on, becomes a little less potent. You're going to see a lot of Patriot League and those kind of leagues. But, it's nice to see, obviously, early in the non-conference season, plenty of different conferences. You got some Horizon League tonight. You got some Big East. You got ACC. You got Big 10. You got Big 12. All sorts of stuff. You got some little SoCo action as well. So, plenty of stuff to wet your whistle, which we'll try to get into as many as we can tonight. I hope everyone had a great Monday afternoon. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody out there. Hopefully you were able to relive a little bit of the Martin Luther King legacy, one of the ultimate Americans that we've ever seen in this country, someone we could all look up to for his fight for civil rights. But let's get into the show here. Welcome in all of you guys out there listening. As always, feel free, please hit the like button. Very important. Allows me to get my name out there and get the likes up. Obviously we've done a nice job of getting subscribers here. Hopefully people enjoy what I'm doing here. And, why wouldn't you enjoy it? I mean, I'm giving you probably the best information you could ask for on any game you ask for. So we'll keep trying to chug along here. Take care of a couple shout-outs here. 2 Chainz, very nice guy, always says some very nice things about me. Welcome in. Appreciate you having some fun with us today here in the chat. Hope you're well. Bruce Chad, what's up, Bruce Chad? Bruce Chad, a loyal follower and listener of everyone, and a nice guy and a guy I consider a friend. So welcome in, Bruce Chad. Tone City, what's up? Let's get this bread. Yeah, exactly. Let's get at this money. Tone. Johans Peterson, what up, though? What up, bro? Matt Anderson, what's up? Joel McDonald, what's up? Guan White, a loyal listener, what's up? Robin Spears, happy Monday. Dean Stevenson, Chris Koldnik, welcome. We got a lot of people. King Rail, Michael DeSola, Matt Varnum, Justin Searcy, Bob Black, Luke Stevens. If you don't like Big Baller Brand, well, don't look at it. I'm not having the fucking LeVar Ball conversation again. Styles 22. It's always funny, man. They always come in the show, and I'm always really excited. And then somebody says something stupid, like BBB. Come on now. Like, I love LeVar Ball. That's no secret. I like the balls. I support I support the brand. Dennis Schultz, what's up? Scott Letty, Matson from Vancouver, what's up? Tiger Bob, George Young, Brian Seymour, T-God, Matty G, Paul Thibodeau. Hope you're staying warm. It's cold as fuck here in North Dakota. Yes, I would imagine it is. It's very cold here as well. Bob Black, go Steelers. Sorry. Russell, JD, all you guys. Joel Nolasco, what's up, man? Terranone, Sammy Sharps. Let's get into the show, guys. We can chat about people all day, but let's get into what we're here for. We'll start out with how we did yesterday. Winner with the under in the Virginia North Carolina State game. Really an easy play. I mean, I've really, as many know, been all aboard this Virginia defense. I mean, I've really just been mystified all year about how good they are. I thought NC State would have some real trouble against it, and they did. Virginia, what's great about them is they're so great defensively, and they're not the most amazing team offensively. When you're getting a total above 130, I think it's an auto bet to take Virginia unders. To me personally, I don't think, no matter who they play, I don't think the total should be like more than 127. 135.5, that's an auto play for me. So, that one got the job done. An easy one, 1-0. 1-0 yesterday, 71-43 on the season, 62%, very consistent all year, up 23.5 units, and had a really nice nice weekend, really. I'm 2-1 on Saturday, 1-0 yesterday. Another winning week for me. So, guys, I mean, again, I'm not asking. I don't ask for anything. I love doing this, and I'm hoping all of you are cashing tickets. So, yeah, let's keep it going. Is the sound gone? Question mark. No, not that I've seen here. Might just be on your end. You might want to reload the page there, brother. Let's get into today's plays. I'm going to start with. I actually have two plays tonight. I'm going to start with the first one, 7 o'clock Eastern, 7:55, 7:56. Bucknell heading on the road to take on Colgate University out of Syracuse, and Colgate's an interesting group. Generally, they're always very dependent on the 3-point shot. That's what Colgate does. That's what Matt Langle does. Matt Langle, a former Fran Dunphy disciple, he's headed up to Syracuse here for Colgate, and that's kind of what they do. They like to shoot the three ball, not really dependent on any post play or anything like that. And look, I think with Bucknell, I think I've mentioned with this group, they really challenged themselves in the out of conference schedule. I really did. You played some really high level competition, and you have to respect it because what they do at Bucknell is the goal is they're going to win their conference. That's a foregone conclusion. It's just what they do. They're the strongest team. They're not going to have any issues in this conference all year. And the goal is to prepare themselves for March Madness and to get into those games where when they have a close game, they know how to win it. Nathan Davis has done a nice job of preparing his team. I mean, you look at this schedule, Arkansas, UNC, Maryland, St. Joe's, Vermont, VCU, Richmond, LaSalle. I mean, that's a really tough out-of-conference schedule. I mean, you're every night playing a good basketball team. And, they took some lumps. I mean, when I see them play UNC or in Arkansas, I don't expect them to play well. I actually bet against them in certain games this year. I bet against them against Arkansas. I took them against UNC. I thought they were a good matchup in that game. But it's all about taking the lumps. And when March comes, when they play a Purdue or they play a Michigan or whoever, they're going to be prepared for it. And that's why they do it. Now they're in conference. And when you really peel back the onion, you have two teams here that stats don't really play a part into what they do as clubs. Because Bucknell, if you look at their stats, you'll see that they're 10-8, they're 4-7 on the road. But remember, all those games were against much better competition than Colgate. Okay, so put that in perspective. Also, look at in conference what Bucknell's done. They're 4-1, and in those 4 wins, they're winning by an average of 16 points a game. So, and then you look at their conference, right? They're scoring much more as far as points per game. They're defending at a much higher level. So the 79.7 points a game they give up is a bit skewed because a lot of that stuff is against the Arkansas, the Marylands, the UNCs, the Vermonts. By the way, they did beat Vermont, by the way, a team that's very good out of the American East. So keep that in mind. You look at Colgate, a lot of their competition is not as good, so their numbers are a little bit more skewed. They have no legitimate post play at all, which is going to be a big problem tonight because Nana Fallon, the big kid for Bucknell, is really good. I mean, he's a real matchup problem for any team. And against this Colgate team, he should have a ton of issues. Colgate really struggles on the boards. They're just not a big team. They're a finesse team. They like to shoot the three. Bucknell's does a really good job defending the three. And Bucknell's a great team because not only do they have Fallon kind of inside, they have Stephen Brown, kind of that really high-level point guard that you need on your team. He's all about passing the basketball and getting good shots. And then you have, Zach Thomas on the perimeter, who really just is a scorer. I mean, that's what he does. Bucknell, when they're lined, they're always a great bet. They're going to be a bet for me tonight. I just think they're a much better team than Colgate is. And I think when you kind of peel back the onion, these are the plays for me that I like. I want a matchup that's a mismatch. I don't think Colgate's on the same level as Bucknell. They've owned them over the last year. None of the games are close. And, I mean, this Bucknell team has owned this conference. I mean, you look at like the last 3 seasons for Bucknell. I mean, they're 36-9 against Patriot League opposition. So, I mean, they're not lined all the time, but again, for me, I'm going to lay the points on the road with a better team. We'll go to the chat, and then we'll get into some other games here. One of the other plays that I have. What's up, Thomas, Robbie, all the guys in here. Welcome in. Colgate's in Hamilton. Whatever. I mean, it's close enough. If Seminoles lose tonight, I'm going to snap. Yeah, I hear you. We'll get into that in a little bit. Omesium, what's up? And then Matt Anderson, who we talked about. Let's get into the other play. I'm going to go to the main matchup tonight, and I'm going to go with a total. We got Duke-Miami here tonight. Should be probably one of the better games on the card. If it all goes how we think it will. 7:29, 7:30. This game also at 7 o'clock. I'm going to go the under, 154.5, and go under here with these two groups. Now, I know you're thinking, big man, are you nuts? First of all, Duke's the best offense in the country. All right, I hear you. Big man, Duke runs your big tempo, fast tempo. I know. Big man, Duke's great on the boards. They should have a lot of easy buckets here. I know. Big man, come on. You said a couple weeks ago Duke was a great over team. Okay, you're right. But not tonight. And I'm going to tell you why. Because like in 8 Mile, what Jimmy did at the end of the movie was basically isolate every single thing that he knew that his opponent would try to embarrass him on and basically cut him off early. I'm going to do that here with the Duke breakdown. Now, could my Duke breakdown be totally off here? Probably. It could be. Who knows? But when you look at some of the things that I think are going to be present in this game, I think it's going to be hard to get to this total. You start with Duke. I know they're a really good offensive team. You don't have to tell me anything about that. The catalyst of the team is Marvin Begley. But what I'm concerned about tonight is DeJuan Huell is a really good defender. I mean, he's a really, really good defender. And in the post, do I think he's going to completely shut down Begley? No, because I don't think that's ever possible. All I need him to do is contain him a bit. He's going to get his. I mean, that's how it goes. And if Azundu comes in, there's 5 fouls you have against Begley. Okay, so could Begley go off? Sure. But I don't know if everyone else is going to go off for Duke because I like Miami. I like defensively. They've always seemed to give the Blue Devils issues. I mean, look at last year's game. 55-50, I believe it was. Miami is a veteran team. Jaquan Newton, Bruce Brown, Lawrence, they have a ton of veterans on this team that are familiar with the goal in this game in Coral Gables is to slow the tempo. Miami is 270th in tempo in the country. They can't run with Duke. They're not going to try to run with Duke. So I think if they can play a pace, which I think they will, that's a huge plus to the under. Second of all, I've said for weeks, Duke should be a zone team. They're better in zone. They do a great job in the zone. They're only allowing 0.82 points per possession. They're good. And Miami is a team to zone against. Their guards don't shoot the ball particularly well. They don't shoot the ball particularly well in half-court defense as it is. I think it's imperative that Coach K run his zone tonight. And I think he's going to. He sees the writing on the wall. He's not stupid. So that's another sign that I have to really like. We can go really rudimentary and say, well, on the surface, it's probably a close game. So there's a lot of possessions that cut down. Plus, I mean, Miami is a dreadful foul shooting team. Not that these two teams really foul out anyway, but still. And we also didn't even mention that Miami as a whole is a very good defensive team. And they're only giving up 58.5 points a game. So there's a lot of things about this game to like. I just don't think this is an 85-80 type of game. Could it be? Sure. Every game can be the opposite of what you think. But for me, I have to go under in this game. There's no need to overthink this, Coach K. Run a zone and play in it. The big concern is Huell. If Huell gets in foul trouble, it could be a long night. But on the other hand, If Marvin Bagley gets in foul trouble, it could be a long night. So for me, I'm going to go with under 154 and a half, Duke, Miami, and I'm going to go with Bucknell -4. Those are my two plays tonight. I just think this total is a bit too high. So I think this game's played in the 70s. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's get into some of the other games here. Before that, we'll check some comments. JD says he'll be taking Florida State. Yeah, a lot of talk about Florida State today, and I don't hate the play at all. I mean, I see where people are going with it. It's just for me, I like other games on the card. Terrence Mann coming back's big. That's obviously a plus. And listen, I'm not getting enough points to take BC here. If I'm getting 7.5, 8, okay, maybe. But 3, 3.5, there's just not a really any reason I want to take BC here. Do you wager on any other sports besides CBB and soccer? Yeah, NBA and NFL. I'm not a ton though. Miami's number 7th defensive. Exactly. Good point. That's what I'm saying. Took it already, and I love it. Miami slows the game down against everyone. Exactly, and they have to. They cannot run with Duke. They'll get blown out of the gym. Larinaga knows that. Duke Bucknell money? No. I don't do that. None of that, T God. And if you want to make money, you won't either. Why do I like Miami to win outright? I don't see it. For me, if I had to play the game sidewise, I would go Duke. There's too many things about Duke. The big concern I have on the over, honestly, the over coming in, the only concern I have on it and when it happening, Duke is the best rebounding team in the country, and they're the best offensive rebounding team in the country. Miami is not a good rebounding team. They have to try to neutralize that a little bit. Getting in there and getting some loose balls, and they're going to have to win the 50-50 battle. If they can do that, I believe this game will definitely stay under. Now, if Miami is absolutely crushing them on the boards, which is possible, then I'm a little bit more concerned. But there's a lot more things that I like towards the under than the over. I just don't think it's going to be that dynamic. I feel really good. Yeah, so do I. I mean, about my game, I don't like your side, but I'll wish you luck. Duke isn't great on the road. I mean, their 2 losses this year have come away from home against subpar competition. Miami's beaten them in the past. Larinaga's a great coach. They're just going to have to win some 50-50 balls. And Huell cannot get in foul trouble. That's going to be a big thing. Interesting. Ian likes Miami. Greg Peterson likes Duke. Listen, I said it before. Use what we all give you as help. You got to go with your intuition though. Or listen, I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't tell me every day. I mean, if you have, you've made money. You've made a lot of money actually. So, all those guys, it's a conundrum. I agree with Greg though. I would definitely go with Duke. Should I lay the points with Nebraska? No. I wouldn't lay the points. I like Illinois, actually. I think Illinois is better than people think. I'm not a big Tim Miles guy. I'm just not. Both those teams are kind of similar to me. I really split it. So for me, if I can't split it, I'll stay away. I considered maybe an overshot. I think both those offenses are better than their numbers might insinuate. And both, especially Illinois, run pretty good tempo. Illinois is pretty fast. So both those teams are going to get to the foul line. So if I'm looking at that game, I'd be looking over the number. Illinois, their big issue is they cannot foul. They cannot guard without fouling. I mean, they're among the worst teams in the country in that. So over might be a decent play in that one. 747, 748 will be fun. All right. Well, let me see what game that is. Yeah, we talked about that one on the show this morning. I mean, look, I liked it a lot more when it was at 7. I mean, at 5, I don't have any interest in it. It's a great game to watch. That's a great point. Other than that, I don't think it's particularly worthy to bet on. Last time Duke scored 80 more in Miami was 2011. Good point. There you go. Thanks, Luke. I don't think it's going to happen again tonight either. I think this is like a 76 70 type of game, something like that. I think Duke will win late on foul shots. I don't want to bet against Begley. Uh, Listen, Hugh is a really good defender. I mean, he's definitely the best defender Begley will deal with. I mean, he's really high level, and he's a high level basketball player too. They have great guards, but you're right. I mean, Begley is better than. I mean, to me, there's only two players better than Begley in the country. And as far as actually, there's three. There's three players better than Begley in the country, and Begley's the second best big in my opinion. I'm actually working on my top 50 players right now as we speak. I'm through about 40. If you notice right here, I have them all listed. I'm working on it just as a project that I want to work on, just so I can kind of, you know, remember names and stuff. So I'm working on my top 50 players in the country overall out of all the teams. So that'll be out. But I think there are three players better than Bagley, in opinion wise. DePaul plus 9.5. Any thoughts? Not really. You know, another game that I think it's kind of like at this point, maybe just bet overs with Big East basketball. I mean, both those teams go pretty fast. I mean, Marquette's been an over machine, but not particularly. I mean, I was pretty frustrated with DePaul the other night. I thought that was a really good spot for them against Butler University, I think it was on Friday, and or Providence, I'm sorry, and they weren't able to get the job done. But both those teams should be able to get to the line plenty. I'd probably gun to my head go over. Yeah, I mean, good Cavs or Warriors. That'd be a fun game to watch. I don't have anything on it though. How about 137 in Michigan, Maryland? Listen, I mean, I'm not really looking to bet against Michigan as far as from a side perspective. Total play great defense as well. I mean, Michigan's been really high level, and I'm a bit concerned about Maryland offensively. You know, they're missing a lot of players right now. Can they hang in the game? Yeah. I mean, I need a little bit more though. I said to Donnie Rightside, for me to get involved with Maryland, I'm going to need 10 points. It's up to 8. It might be worth a buy on. They can hang in this game from foul shots and the overall perception of Michigan, and people love them at home. They're a good foul shooting team, Maryland. They're good from three. They're pretty solid offensively, but lately they've struggled with their injuries. Michigan coming off a huge couple wins, especially on Sunday or Saturday against Michigan State, could be a real letdown spot here. And this Wolverine team struggles to make foul shots. And when you're laying 8 points, foul shots are huge. Might be worth a look here. Maryland. Miami's offense isn't good, honestly. Exactly. But the key for Duke tonight, they have to run zone for a lot of it. You have to go with what works. I don't know. I'm not sure why the under's 154.5. 730, 743, 744. Yeah. I mean, I talked about it. We already went through that game. Northern Kentucky, I hate laying big numbers. Illinois, Chicago thoughts. I have a feeling that'll be a higher scoring game. I don't know if I totally believe in Illinois, Chicago defensively yet, though they got me the money the other night. I'm not into betting against Oakland. Oakland is a weird team, though. I mean, they can't stop anybody, so I'd probably lean over. Northern Kentucky, I think that's too many points to lay with them. It's nothing for me there. How do you feel about Baylor, Oklahoma State? I don't have much feeling at all about Oklahoma State, though I do thank them for their win the other night against Texas University. That was big time for me. I needed that. But, you know, Baylor's a team that I seemingly just don't have much of a read on. I don't think Scott Drew's a great coach. I know a lot of people think he is, but he's a big failure when March comes. So I don't have nothing there. Tonight's lock is West Virginia. Settle down, Scott Letty. Come on. Tonight's a lock. There's no lock. Okay, so Huggins gets 25K. So Scott, does Huggins go out and shoot the ball and play defense, do all that stuff? I'm sure he makes his team aware that tonight, if they win, he gets 25K. I'm sure that'll make them feel great, Scott. Come on, Scott. That has nothing to do with the game. And Kansas really isn't that good. Come on, man. Scott, you seem like a nice guy, but when you said tonight lock, that was a bit of a red flag. I'm not sure why West Virginia players would care at all about 25K. They're also off a brutal loss. They have players off the court hitting other players or fans. I mean, there's a lot around this team right now. I like West Virginia a ton. But I think Kansas is really good. So, I mean, good luck. I hope you win, but I'm just not sure how Huggins getting 25K matters to the players. If anything, that would bother me. Why does he get 25K? He just sits on the fucking bench. Why don't we get 25K? But I wish you luck, man. I'm sure if they win tomorrow, you'll be on here, and I hope you do. Good luck. I'll be watching. My coworker's bugging me to ask you about Maryland. Again, King Real, I'm sure you heard it. I would lean Maryland there. What's up, big man? Hey, Carlos. Big man, I like Penn State last night. The line had gone up. I think Minnesota's fade city. I agree. And there's just too much going on around this program right now. Coffey's out. Reggie Lynch has got major legal issues. Mike Watkins should have a big night. Could have been a great battle between those two, but yeah, they're tough right now to back. They're really struggling on offense. You look at this group over the last 5 games, 36%. Now you got to go on the road. I mean, really tough. I agree with you there. Penn State is kind of ripe here, I think. Thanks, Burns. Appreciate it, man. 751, 752. I know you like Mercer. Is this too big of a line? Yeah, I like Mercer, but I like Bob Hoffman a lot more. I don't know how much I like this group, this team. For me, I'm waiting a lot with Mercer until towards the end of the season. They've just burned me a couple different times. But Chattanooga, UT Chat, really struggling. I didn't think losing Matt McCall would be this big a deal, but they have really struggled in conference. I mean, they're 0-5, giving up over 83 points a game. Teams are just shredding them. And that's a bad idea when you're playing Mercer. Mercer's really, really good on the offensive end. They have 5 seniors at start. And this is a bad thing for this group coming in. They've been brutal on the road. I'd be not interested at all in Mercer here or in Chattanooga here. If I'm betting this game, I would take the Mercer Bears. I just have zero interest in anything that UT Chat's doing right now. Minnesota are dreadful. Yeah, they are. Thanks for the info. Yeah, no problem, man. Minnesota's not as good as I thought. Will they step up tonight? They're definitely not as good as you thought. But again, you got to feel bad for the rest of the team because, I mean, it really, what's amazing about Minnesota? When they changed, and it's interesting because I thought about this the other day with this team. They changed when they had that 5-on-3 game. Remember against Alabama? They won the game. They covered. But I think it really took a lot out of them, I think mentally. And it's almost like when something bad happens to you, like when you get really embarrassed. Like, I don't know. Like, I remember when I was in high school, there was this kid that he wasn't really a friend of mine. He was older than me, but he was someone that we all kind of knew. He was a bit of a class clown, and he always would do really random things. And I remember, and there's a reason I'm telling you this story, but he was a kid basically that he's kind of a punk rocker kind of guy. And basically in our cafeteria, we had a balcony basically overlooking everything. There was like another floor, and it overlooked the whole cafeteria. And I remember there was a girl he really liked. And I remember him telling us that during lunch, he was going to basically profess his love for her in front of everybody. And we told him, hey, it's probably not a good idea. And, he was just one of those kids that did it anyway. And I remember we're all sitting there, and this girl was at my table, Okay, we kind of have our own table, and it was our whole class, kind of the in kids at the table. And I remember he walks up and he goes, "That girl down there," and he gave her name out. "I love her." And everyone just, I mean, it was embarrassing as hell for the girl. And she ran out crying. And I remember that kid. He was never the same. Honestly, it's amazing. I remember at different basketball games, he would get in fights, and he ended up being a real mess. And I actually remember hearing like recently that he's had some drug problems. And look, do I think that bothered him long term? Probably not. But it's just one of those things where when you get publicly embarrassed, it fucks with you. We don't like to be called as it is, but when it's in front of a lot of people in this day and age, it can hurt you. And you look at this Minnesota team psyche. I don't know how that translated into Minnesota, but it's similar. They were publicly embarrassed. They were the butt of the jokes of everybody. You almost lost to a team with 3 people on it. So, and if you look at Minnesota, they have not been the same team since. It's kind of sad, man. So leave that for what it's worth. Um, oh man. Bob Huggins donates the 25K. Good for him. I hope he does. There's no such thing as a lock in this business. Exactly. What's up, Jake? He likes Bucknell in the under. Yeah, I'll give my plays out at the end, people. Settle down. Please stop saying Ken Palm and Locke. That will keep. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Dennis Schultz. Dennis Schultz, a very intuitive guy. He always always there for me when I need him. He always says good things when I need him. I didn't see a show or you post yesterday. I posted yesterday. I don't usually have a show on Sundays, especially with football going on. I posted on Twitter very far before the game. And I mentioned over the weekend that I was busy this weekend. I was at the game Saturday. I was busy last night. And I'd be posting the plays. Was that a real photo of you at work? That was hilarious. Yes, that is a real photo of me when I worked at Citizens. Yes. That was taken by a good friend of mine. Yeah, I don't know why I posted. I found it on my computer and I'm just like, well, fuck it. I'll just put this on. Do you think Rick helps his kid? He has nothing to do. I think he's there for support, but I don't know if he does anything. I don't think. Big man, who's been the most surprising team to you? Most surprising? That's a good question. Um, I'll tell you what, Kyle. We'll answer that. I'll answer that tomorrow on the show on the right side of campus. Let me think about that for a little. What's up, Big? What's up, Nate Brooks? Good to see you, man. I haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well, man. Nathan Brooks, a nice guy. One of Gabe's people. Good to see you, man. Appreciate it. He's the guy in the kiss cam that gets down. Yeah, it was kind of like that. I mean, it was pretty embarrassing. Big man, sounds like your underplay correlates with play on Miami. No, actually, truthfully, I like Duke. I just think they'll be better and they'll get their job done. I think both teams will be successful in this game. I just don't want to bet against Bagley in this situation. I like Duke. They're the better foul shooting team. They're better on the glass, surely. And I think if they run a zone, I think that will. Here's what I could see. I could definitely more see a blowout by Duke as opposed to a Miami win. Like I could definitely see my Duke winning by double digits here. Because if Huell gets in foul trouble, this game is over. And Miami, they may really struggle here. Terrence Mann, yeah, I knew. Yeah, that's pretty much a guarantee he's playing tonight. That's been common knowledge. Good story. I love those stories. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's pretty good one. Jeff, did they have history teachers when you went to school? Yeah, they did actually. I have a couple good history teachers. We had our history teachers were weird though. We had 2 history teachers that one of them is no longer at school because he had an affair with a teacher in school while we were there. Supposedly somebody caught them. He had an affair with another teacher. And then one of our teachers we've had, and I've actually told this story before in another show. He was pinched last year for soliciting a hooker, and he got front page news, and he got he got fired. So, but it's amazing. They were two really good teachers. So, you know, we all have demons, I guess. Any thoughts on Oakland UIC? Not really. I mean, gun to my head over. You probably had the games on at your desk. Somewhat. Once in a while. Favorite mid-major team to watch out for? Wow. There's a lot of good mid-major teams, man. I mean, obviously, St. Mary's, Gonzaga, but talk about small ones. Bucknell, I think they're a team that I really like. I think they could win a game or two in the tournament. The South Dakota schools, both South Dakota State and South Dakota. Um, I mean, with Mike Daum, I actually have Mike Daum. I'm doing my rankings, as I said, and I have Mike Daum fifth. I think Mike Daum is the fifth best player in the country, other than, like, as far as I have Trey Young, Brunson, Ayton, Bagley, and then I have Daum. So, I mean, Mike Daum's that good. I think the A-10 is a really interesting conference. Then you have the really low mid majors. The New Mexico States. The Florida Gulf Coast. Who's really tested. It's going to be a fun year, man. I mean, I'm really, really all about it. Middle Tennessee, I think, might be the best mid major team. Basically, other than St. Mary's and Zags. Um, it's going to be a fun year. I just went through all the lines. There's not a lot to love tonight. I got two games. Fine with that. Mark Roberry, congrats on the Eagles. Thank you, man. We're excited here. Yep, we'll do both of them tomorrow, Sammy. I'll write it down. Actually, I'll tell you what. Somebody on Twitter DM me to remind me that, so I make sure I get it on the synopsis for tomorrow. How do you think Notre Dame will finish without Colson? Well, I think they're going to struggle without Bonzie Colson. I think they're still decent, but they're just in such a tough conference. I mean, it's hard to make ground up. I have no faith in the Cavs. Who does? Would. My school was so tough. The teacher would ask, "What comes after a sentence?" Kids would say, "You make an appeal." Yo, that's good shit. That's what I would say too. That's a good answer. Good work. Good work by the kids at your school. Butler, Providence, pass. Lean Prov. Yeah, I like Big Sky too. Big Sky, CAA, Summit. Yeah, they're my favorite. Do I like Ione and the MAC? No, I don't. Not really. I like Niagara. I mean, Ione is solid. I mean, they'll be right up there. But I think Niagara is just, better. I like Dukes and Scott a lot. Canisius is interesting. Manhattan always seems to play well in the tournaments, but for me, it's Niagara. They're just so good on the offensive end. But Iona is well coached. I mean, I will never count them out. Who do you think wins the Big Ten? Purdue. It's definitely Purdue's lose. I said that last week. Can Portland State make noise? Yeah, I think they've already made noise. Is this a ceiling for them? I think. I mean, I don't think they're. I don't think they're as good as some of the better teams in that conference. Like, I think Montana's really good. I think Weber State's always very good under Randy Rahe. Idaho's been very good so far this year. Northern Colorado under Jeff Linder's been impressive. But they can wear you down with that press. So no, it wouldn't surprise me. But I do think there are better teams in the Big Sky. So if you ask me, do I think they can win? Yes, I think they can win. But will they win? I don't think so. NU is 5 minutes for me. Need to get to a game. You're going to have to be more specific. I think you mean Niagara. Good. That'd be great. Let me know what you see. Oakland, Illinois, Chicago. I don't have much opinion on that. The only one I'd go with would be the over, maybe. Our school was so tough, the school newspaper had an obituary column. Though I'll tell you though, hey, where was this? What school was this he went to? I gotta look this place up. But all right, guys. What we'll do, 5 more minutes or so. If you have any questions on anything, doesn't have to be basketball. Send them in. Always have fun with those towards the end of the show. How old are you? 28. Yeah, how about that? Lines are already moving, people. What about how about that? I don't think it has anything to do with me, but yeah, it's great. Uh, so feel free send in anything that you want to talk about. We'll get them out here. Mm-mm-mm-mm. On for snow around here, which seems like they always are anymore. Let me see what we got here. How far do you think Drake will go? I don't think they'll go too far. I think they'll be a tough team though in that division, but I think their team's better than they are. I think Missouri State's going to win that conference. Who do you have winning the national title as of today? Uh, if you made me pick, I don't know. I'd probably go Villanova, but there's a long way to go. I think there are 15 teams that can win the title this year. I think Duke will be right there. I think there's a lot of teams. Kansas, Wichita, Oklahoma, West Virginia. There's a lot of teams. Um, do you think Arsenal win the Europa League? It depends. I mean, at this point, it's hard to envision they will because, and I was talking about this on the show today that we did the weekly kickoff. I think Arsenal's really putting themselves into a corner here. Now, do I think their teams will get stronger as they get further into the competition? Like they didn't care much about this round they just played in the Europa League, but I think as they go further, clearly they're out of the FA Cup. They're out of all the other competitions. So, I mean, other than the League Cup, which I guess they care about that and they may win, but it's going to be difficult. They got to go to Stanford or they got to beat Chelsea yet again, which is unlikely. The Europa League really takes precedence at this point. How does it not? They're not winning the Premier League. So they're going to have to field the team in Europa. The problem is with Arsenal, it's not as so much of a question of who's going to play for them now. I mean, because you look at this team right now, Alexis is gone. I mean, he's good as gone. Danny Welbeck's supposedly getting moved to Besiktas. Olivia Giroud is injured. Theo Walcott is supposedly going to Everton, but even if he doesn't and he's there, I mean, you really trust him? I mean, he doesn't give a flying fuck, and he's awful anyway. Their defense is a mess. Per Mertesacker is awful. You know, who's going to be your striker? I mean, other than you got Lacazette up front, but I guess you're going to have to play Iwobi and Maitland Niles. I mean, what do you do? I mean, you're really. I mean, they're going to address and bring other people in, but I wouldn't be that excited if I'm an Arsenal fan. I guess you put El Neni in there and Ketia. I don't know. So do I think they can win the Europa League? Yeah, I do, but it's going to be difficult. Who wants to go to Arsenal? Honestly, what is Arsenal going to do for me if I go there? I don't want to play for Arsene Wenger, and they're not going to Champions League. It's going to be unlikely they are. They don't spend any money as it is. They're a toxic club. I wouldn't have want anyone to do with them. So can they win it? Yeah, but I don't think that right now. Like I don't think they can field really that good of a team even right now. And then they go and sell Francis Coquelin for some reason. You only got like 10 million for him. Is he the best player in the world? No, but I mean, I'm not really sure why you sold him. Yeah, it is their only chance of success. Are you a Phillies fan? No, I'm a Yankee fan. Would you be comfortable with 153 and a half? Yeah, but I'm more comfortable with the number I got. What's my favorite music? My favorite music, I will say two. Dance music, so like trance, techno, house. I'm more of like a deep house kind of guy or trance. So like um basically like really underground stuff. Like I don't listen to like dubstep or none of that. It's mostly like hard dance music, deep house, trance, that kind of stuff. And hardcore rap. So you Philly rap, battle rap, that kind of stuff. Uh and watch out for Celtic, baby, in Europa League. That's what we're talking about, bro. Um, do goals scored increase or decrease in EPL second half? That's a very open question. Depends on what's going on in the game. Name the four teams that don't end with the letter Z. Okay. Jazz. Oh man, let me think here. Jazz, Heat. So I got Jazz and Heat. I got to think about this for a second. Orlando. So I got three. I need one more. Damn, that's tough. Jazz, Heat, Magic. There's one more. I'm missing it. Oh, OKC. OKC, Magic, Heat, Thunder. There you go. Take me a little, but I got it. Deep House and Trance. That caught me off guard. Yes. Very big into that. What's up, Ryan Knight? Welcome in, man. You missed it. I didn't look on the screen. I don't do that, guys. I try to legitimately think about it. I don't see Arsenal beating any Italian teams in Europe. Me either. And they don't beat Celtic Football Club either. What are your thoughts on the Montana Grizzlies? I like them. They would be my pick to win that conference right now. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Two plays tonight. I got a good number. Under 154.5, Duke Miami, and Bucknell -4. Your two plays of the day. Hopefully you enjoyed the show today. I sure did. Everyone have a great night. We'll be back. Do I like Claude Von Stroke? Yeah, older stuff. Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow with more. 10 o'clock on the SBR YouTube page. The right side of campus should be something you listen to every morning. Always great information. Donnie Rightside and I really enjoy that. Other than that, have a great night. Enjoy your Monday evening. If you have any interest, feel free to tweet me. And let's get some winners tonight. Let's try to go 2-0. Everyone have a great night. See you later. Bye-bye.